What is the single most emotionally destructive sentence you could say to somebody? You don't get it. I still want to get married, have kids and grow old with someone. Just not with you. Overhead at a bar, the guy said it to the girl. When they were leaving it looked like someone ripped out her heart. He told her he wanted to leave because he was worried she would make a scene. I hope you managed to console her some way. No, I'm not joking. It really sounds awful. I once called my mother by my stepmother's name in a fit of rage when I was 16, and considering my stepmother kicked me down a flight of stairs as a 7-year-old and caused my dad to lose partial custody of us, that might have been it. She was so offended she didn't say a word to me for 5 days after. That's like a year in mom time. My neighbor once said to 6-yo me, "No wonder your father left you. Parents divorced when I was 4. This was in response to me rollerblading up and down a shared garden path. No wonder everyone left you." My uncle had this conversation with his son upon the son starting his own business. "Son, look dad, I'm just like you." "Dad, you'll never be anything like me." Pause. "Dad, because I expect you'll be a greater man than me." I always thought Neil Young's lyric "it doesn't mean that much to me to mean that much to you" was rather heartbreaking. Sometimes nothing at all, straight up disappearing from someone's life, can cause a lot of insecurity and raise a lot of questions. This is very true and very hurtful. There is no closure and you don't know what went wrong. You think people like you. You think people like you. First time as a diss, then you widen your eyes and the realization dawns upon you that they actually do think people like them. Repeat it quietly as if in awe. Kills them every time. Can confirm, this would destroy me. Someone said have a happy motherless Christmas to a kid whose mum died of cancer a couple of weeks before winter break at my old school. What the heck is wrong with people? Worked at a grocery store and this lady was on the phone with her doctor getting results. She was standing in front of the milk and some other lady was mad she was in the way and this went down. Crappy human. Nobody wants to hear your freaking phone conversation. Move out of the way. A normal lady. Sorry, it was my doctor and he had results about my cancer treatment. I wasn't paying attention. Crappy human. Well, I hope you die. This poor lady broke down right in front of me and started bawling. We told crappy human to leave right now and she never came back. I was right there when it happened and I thought it was a joke at first. Turns out it was just someone being truly horrible. We all spent like 40 minutes with this lady confirming that she was fine and that was uncalled for. Never seen anyone be that crappy to anyone ever again. They probably didn't believe her. Sort of like, A, I banged your mom. B, my mom's dead. Instead of A backtracking with "oh, sorry man, I didn't know." A doubles down with "I didn't say she was any good." I'd been on really crappy meds for acne and my hair had thinned and was growing back, which I was really self-conscious about because no matter what I did it looked crap. A group of us were standing together in the office out of the way of a roof leak and one guy turned to me and said, "You should go and stand under that leak. It might improve your hair." Silence. I walked away crushed. Continued to work in the same building as him for 9 years and didn't speak to him again. That's cruel, but also he's an idiot because that makes no sense. If I had a gun with 2 bullets and I was in a room with Hitler, Bin Laden, and Toby, I would shoot Toby twice. Michael Scott. Toby is in HR, which technically means he works for corporate, so he's really not a part of our family. Also, he's divorced, so he's really not a part of his family. You killed your father. He died to get away from you. I was 16. My dad had recently died of cancer he'd been fighting since before I was born. My mother screamed this at me during an argument a few months later and she seems to genuinely believe it because she will say it if ever I got out of line. I wasn't a horrible kid or teen, and this was devastating every single time I heard it. I'm really sorry. No human being is worth listening to such things. I went with my father to visit my grandmother who lives a few states away and whom we hadn't visited in several years. While we were there, we all went to church together. My father and I are not really religious, but we wanted to go to see everybody from the old days and grandma asked us to, even though she hadn't gone since my grandpa passed away. There were a couple hundred in the congregation. Almost every one of them was either related to us by blood or close enough that they might as well be. The preacher made an announcement that we had come all the way across the country to be there, and he remarked on how my dad looked just like my grandpa, who was a very close friend to the preacher before he passed away. My grandmother took that moment to jump up and shout out for everyone to hear. He may look like him, but he'll never be the man that Grandpa was. I'm sure those words will haunt my dad until the day he dies. It's impressive that no matter how old we get, parents will always find right words to inflict the most damage. This isn't mine, but someone once told me that the worst thing you could say to someone is "who's this clown?" because it implies that they're 1, a clown, and 2, not a well-known clown. Besides killer clowns and bozo, name one clown who isn't homie. Think about Bill. If you died, would anyone care? Would they really care? Maybe they'd cry for a day, but let's be honest, no one would give a crap. They wouldn't. The few people who would feel obligated to go to your funeral would probably feel annoyed and leave as soon as possible. That's who you are. That's what you are. You're nothing to anyone. To everyone. Think about it, Bill. Cause if you do, if you let yourself, you know I'm telling you the truth. So instead of wasting any more of my time, I need you to go call someone that matters. Because Bill, you don't. I cried looking at poor Bill after that rant. Look me in the eyes and say something original. That's right, you can't. You are just a useless copy of a greater person before you, and your life will be meaningless. Give up already, ex-best friend. Well, I think that you're an awesome pile of bread. To constantly berate a person who's trying to better themselves with all their past transgressions. I've been there before, and it really makes you fuck all. You are a worthless street rat. You were born a street rat. You'll die a street rat, and only your fleas will mourn you. Riff raff. My long-term boyfriend broke up with me by saying "I don't love you, I'll never love you, and I see no future with you." So probably that. I once got "I just don't want the responsibility of contributing to your happiness." That was definitely an unexpected breakup line. The boarding school chairman owner known for his brutality told me, rough translation, this when I created a ruckus in the hostel. I went there to study for my med school entrance. Do you actually think you're special? Well, let me break it to you. You're not. Not even close. Not even remotely close. You've been told by teachers your whole life that you have above average intelligence, but you're just lazy. Well, let me tell you the truth. You're as painfully average intelligent as it can get, and because of your laziness you will never achieve anything in your life. The funny thing is everyone except you is in on it. Your parents must have told you you're special, but they know the truth. Your friends know the truth. You teachers know the truth. No one pushes you to achieve your maximum potential because you've already peaked out. So if you want to have a rat's chance of being anything in your life, you'd better start working as 10 times as hard as the guy next to you because he's 10 times as intelligent as you. But most probably you'll still lose, but you can that, at least you tried. I'll never forget his words. Some of the impact gets lost in translation. He said that during the school assembly in front of the whole school. Really gave me a new perspective and inspired me to work hard. I told a version of this to myself once. Been pretty broken ever since. To me after coming home from a combat tour and falling to the sidewalk after 2 cars collided at the intersection. Jeez, dude, no wonder people think you're weird. I never wanted a second kid. Said by my dad to 16-year-old me, the younger of 2 kids. That killed any affection and respect that I had left for him. 15 years later, none of it has returned and I have nothing but despite for him. Yes, despite, it can last for a long time. That has to be customized. You cannot tell someone who is very successful that he is a loser, or someone who is very popular that he is a loner. It has to have some truth to it. Got to disagree with you there. Some of the other responses in this thread would kill most people. I think really making fun of how a person smiles. You show too much gums when you smile, or laughs. Your laugh is really ugly, but that's what makes you you, is one of the worst. From that point on, anytime they are happy, smiling, laughing, they will think about that and will either stop, or be self-conscious about being happy. Can confirm this. I am by nature a fairly loud, similarly filled guy who laughs at everything for no particular reason. One day in high school a couple girls told me my laugh was so annoying that I should just either stop laughing or change it. So out of self-loathing I eventually just laugh less, and when I do, it is as you say, I think about it every time I laugh years later. A person on AOL once told me I was so ugly that I needed to wear a mask. 17 years later it still bothers me every day, so I chose the best mask. My dad told the cashier at the supermarket ignore him love I did for years about me, because I was frickin' about with my little brother. Took me a few days to get over that one. You're fat, but you have a pretty face. I had this said to me many times when I used to be fat and was dating. Newsflash. Not a compliment. Better than being fat and not having a pretty face. It's a good thing your father didn't live to see the loser you turned into, said to me, by me, in the mirror every day. I especially get a kick out of it when I know my friends have been partying the night before. So, I heard something happened to you last night. I'd tell them with a soft, reassuring face. You'd be surprised how much they'd reveal, even with details that you may not want to know. I don't love you anymore. I never really loved you. I've been fricking your brother the whole time we've been together. I've only ever been in this for the money. After reading most of the responses here I have come to the conclusion that luckily most redditors are not well versed in verbal combat. The key to doing maximum damage to someone with minimal effort on the part of a verbal aggressor is to attack someone with presuppositions. Here is a basic example. Person A, if you really loved me, you wouldn't waste so much money. Person B, I don't waste money. You just don't understand how much groceries cost in this area. Now no matter where this argument goes and no matter what groceries actually cost in the area person B has lost. They have taken the bait and focused on the second accusation that they waste money, not the real accusation which is that they love person A. And now person A can bring this up at any time for some real emotional damage. What person B should have done is ignore the waste money bit and honed in directly on the presupposition by saying something like, you know, it is interesting that so many people have this feeling that their spouse doesn't love them. Here person B has not admitted to not loving them, nor have they blamed the first person back. They have kept it general and avoided saying you or I. This is a safe response to deflect such an attack. They could toss in something mean in their reply such as blah blah. So many people once they reach your age begin to feel as if their spouse. But that would amp up the conflict instead of halting it. Here is a more skillful and cruel move. You know, if you really cared about your health then you wouldn't even want to go to the buffet for dinner after your big lunch. This is getting into cruel territory because in addition to questioning whether or not someone cares about their health, they may not after all. There is no way they can control what they want. The person on the defense needs to address this presupposition, then address the first one. Often people who are under this kind of attack walk away feeling guilty and are unsure why. Well, they have been tricked into admitting that they do not care about someone or something even if they do. Or they feel bad about wanting something even if they are not acting on that desire. Be careful out there guys, and remember to watch out for the dangerous presupposition. Here is for anyone wondering the meaner first example opener. You know, if you really loved me, then you wouldn't want to waste so much money all the time. If you ever killed yourself, that would just be my life, and I would move on immediately. My ex-GF after my mentor unexpectedly died, and I was depressed. I can't imagine telling anyone their life doesn't matter, even someone I don't like or respect. No one deserves to be told something so hurtful. Not the worst thing a person could say, but this one has always really bothered me. I don't care what other people say about you. You're a good guy. I don't care what other people say. You have a great. Insert anything you care about. Anything along the lines of these sentences. Then you think, oh great, people are talking crap behind my back to this person. You're responsible for whatever happens next. Text message sent to my friend from one of his childhood friends dealing with depression and suicidal thoughts. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.